It sounds like. Dalton, I said today in my editorial that you guys are in a pickle.
Which one? It's a jar of pickles. Yeah, it's a jar of pickles.
Tuesday was an interesting meeting. You have very upset employees, and I see both sides of the story very clearly to me. I feel like I've managed organizations before where we've had those health insurance benefits. In the private sector, what happened was nothing new necessarily. The insurance is a huge reason why, I worked for Ingram Schools for a while. And so I get where they're coming from. But at the same time, though, you've also been signaling the alarm about potential threats to city funding at all. Now, the socialist mayor apparently wants everybody to chip in. And that just sounds terrible. But how do you solve this issue? Now, my feeling is just I editorialized today on this was that just present all the options.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a good job at that. We are a week and a half removed from when we presented to City Council the final final budget in a way. Yeah. And we talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we offered some solutions in there that we are navigating through. And I think that I definitely understand their frustrations. And, the reality of it is the number one mistake that we as a city made, historical past, is we should have done a 3% increase every single year. And what that would have done from a business perspective is that would have allowed us as a city to put back into the employee benefit trust. So then when we had those high years of inflation, we can buy down that cost versus just absorbing 100% of that cost. Mm-hmm. I've seen some comments, from some of the firefighters on, well, we've saved money over the past 12 years. That's not true. That's a misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. Out of the 20 years that we've looked at the information, 10 of those years we never even put back into the benefit trust. And 10 of those years we put an incremental amount back into the benefit trust. Yeah. So it had nothing to do with us, withholding wages or withholding any of that. They've done compensation studies. There's been over 22% increase in wages, over the years. And yes, is City of Kerrville, ideally, historically, maybe a little bit more lower on the wage side? It is, but it's difficult to navigate that when we have all those other challenges that we've talked about over the years. Yeah. So when we talk about, potentially looking at a crime and a fire control district and what that would do using sales tax dollars, we just now have to start looking for that solution to figure out how can we do this for the long term, but still offer the benefits, still offer everything. A crime and fire control district. If I'm just somebody out in the comments doesn't understand anything, what does that mean exactly? We definitely plan on talking about this more. Unfortunately, with everything that's happened over the last week, we've had to be more reactive to things versus having productive conversations. And I think that as the noise starts going away, hopefully we will start having more productive conversations and education. I think anybody who knows me knows that let's have a conversation, let's talk about it. And I think that got missed, within the fire department. That's something that we try to do actively is I'm always out and about at departments. I'm always, talking with staff, with our team. I don't just sit up in the office. We try to get engaged with our team. And